Good morning. A line that stood out to me from last week's sermon was angst in the subplots. Something about angst in the subplots. I think we're experiencing that. What could this possibly mean? Well, we looked back over some of the key points in early Old Testament history last week, and we're reminded that God is up to something big. He is reconciling humankind to himself, moving all of history to a final conclusion, and he has called us to be part of this mission. This relates to those 5 threads that we hear about week after week in this series, that God is at work restoring his shalom, his peace, which was and continues to be destroyed by Satan, and God is calling us to partner with him in this. The passage from last week was the first 2 chapters of Exodus about the oppression that the Israelites had when they were slaves in Egypt, about the birth of Moses, and then the amazing way his life got spared. God called Moses for a purpose in his big epic story, and he calls us also. We know that in the end, God will put all things right. But meanwhile, we experience various kinds of trouble and anguish, and this is where the angst in the subplots comes in. And this is also where Jesus' words in John 16:33 apply. He said, "I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." One of the ways that God will make things right eventually is that he will put an end to everything that devastates relationships. This pertains so much to him restoring shalom. Shalom means God's peace between us and God and us and each other. And this is what Satan is constantly working to destroy and undermine. Jeff may have mentioned something last week about us arguing when we were in Japan, kind of consistently on Wednesdays, which was the day we had the other English teachers over for fellowship and Bible study at our house. When we realized what was going on, we started praying every Wednesday morning that God would protect us and give us his shalom. And he did. It was amazing how differently those days went after that. So a big part of participating with God in his epic reconciliation project is allowing the Holy Spirit to penetrate our own hearts and letting him address the things there that devastate relationships and break shalom. Things like bitterness, hatred, racism, scorn, arrogance, impatience, and unkindness. These things lurk in our own hearts, and they destroy relationships and break shalom. Participating with God in this project of reconciliation gives our lives purpose and meaning. Sometimes that trouble, which Jesus said we would have in this world, really seems to break our sense of meaning or purpose or even progress. But we know that in the middle of all that, God is working to accomplish his big, lasting purposes, and we can participate.